What's going on, guys? You're here in Los Suifa, and we're going back today. We're stepping back in time with Escape from Tarkov. In this case, we're going all the way back to 2015 to a quote-unquote replay system pre-alpha test that they were doing for a YouTube video, right? I don't think that this was a replay system because some things in this video are just blown way out of proportion, like the grenade explosion and just how the gunfight ended up working out. I don't think it's a replay system, but nonetheless, we're going back to see if the game lived up to its hype. So this is Factory, obviously. That's in that room right there is where the cinematic trailer happened. And actually, talking about that cinematic trailer for a second, everyone thought that was gameplay. Everyone thought that's what type of graphics we were going to be seeing. And when we got, when we got this gameplay, another gameplay, they're like, oh, they downgraded the game. No, they didn't. It was just a cutscene. I don't know why more people didn't see that. When I was in middle school when that came out. This video is all the way back in 2015. This is after that trailer, I believe. I 100% believe that, actually. I don't know behind how long. I remember watching the cinematic trailer in middle school and being really fascinated by it, and now I play the game all the time. It's crazy. And this is now all the way in 2019. I think the cinematic trailer came out early 2015. I think this video is May 2015. And yeah, as you can see right there, the grenade explosion completely blown out of. I don't know if that's actually how it worked early on in development, but obviously grenades in the game. They still look cool in game right now. Well, maybe not really, but that would be awesome if they ever added particle effects like that. Anyways, the gunplay. This was an early version, and I'd say that now the gunplay is even better, minus the fact you can see that there's very, very limited UI in this version, and there is still already very limited AI in the real game, or well, this is the real game too, but the updated game. But they've kind of took a little bit of step forward with that. They added more permanent UI elements to the screen, which I was like, I didn't really like it. And I know there's options to turn it off, but you're at a disadvantage when you turn it off. I liked how they had it, where if nothing's happening, it's just not there. It doesn't apply to you, but some things just don't disappear now. I don't know if that's an option in game that you can use to turn it off. But moving forward, how about the graphics? I know we were just talking about a downgrade with the trailer and whatnot, but I do think that for the most part they stepped back. I think it's with the lighting and the particle effects. I mean, you could just see random particle effects happening. I don't know if it was like a mortar strike or something, but they were talking about adding mortars to this game in the future. I hope we see that. All right, so now we're switching it over to customs here. We're on 2242 of the Escape from Tarkov 28-minute gameplay video if you want to go look at that yourself. This one, I think, was uploaded by GameSpot. Obviously, everything in this version of the game looks early, even just like the gloves and the way the animations work. It looks different, and actually, it looks a little bit faster paced, which I wouldn't mind. You can move fast when you're not aiming down sights, but in this, when you're aiming down sights, you can still move pretty fast. And I actually kind of like that as an idea. It kind of reminds me of how a really aggressive SWAT team would push into a building, right? I love games that you can aim and run, and most games don't have that, but DayZ .62 and prior to that, you could have your gun up but run. It was just super inaccurate. You couldn't aim down sights, but you could still. It would be guns up, shooting, running. I just love that. I think that'd be totally cool if they added that to this game, or whatever they had here back to the original game. You could also see that I think some of the graphics obviously don't look as good as they do now, but for the most part, I'd say that a lot of graphics here look. Maybe just the lighting. It could just be me with seeing it from a different angle. It almost looks better. And obviously there's reasons why it doesn't look like this now. It just seems like there's more depth. I mean, you can look at the other building over there and it just looks like there's more of something. I don't know if it's shadows. Maybe it's because I'm playing on low settings and I just don't know it. But it's not that big of a deal. It's only graphics, and the graphics isn't why we play this game. And wow, just look at all those things that are in this inventory. The game doesn't look anything like that now. The layout looks the same for the most part, but not the thumbnails. It's just really cool to look back at this. I personally bought the game in early 2017, late 2016. So the game was, I mean, you might say that was not that long ago, but I played it before it was really popular. You know, I remember that well, maybe it was before that. I started playing it right before Deadly Slob started making a bunch of content on it. And I loved it. I personally miss the simple days of this game when you didn't have to worry about 1,000 different things like missions and grinding and grinding and grinding and well, let's see what else. Oh yeah, grinding. But that's okay. There's more depth to the game now, and it's changed. If we were playing the same game that we were back then, which I honestly think was even less buggy, but that I don't know. It would have been boring. It would have been boring now by now. And wow, this just looks so crazy. Like the gas station looks so different. What is that? Oh, it's in, and also these videos are in Russian because it was advertised in English, but I don't think that they had Russian translations at the time. I don't know. Well, actually, most of their dev videos that they upload are in Russian. I guess it just makes sense for them to record it in Russian instead of English. It'd be easier to navigate. All right, let's talk about the AI now. I remember in the cinematic trailer, it kind of showed what the game was about. You and another person, or it could just be yourself too. It's you versus everything else that's in that world. World. Excuse me, my throat is dry. And it also showed us that you were going against AI. And then at the end of the last trailer, you also saw really weird looking AI. Just they were all wearing orange and they looked like they were prisoners. But beyond that, the AI since the game came out has never been that good. It's just always been bad, and the third person animations has always been bad. Wow, that laser sight was on when it was on the ground. That's actually in the game right now. If you turn on a laser sight and drop it, that's in the game, which it's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, back to AI. I hope that in the future they make AI look and feel better. I think they should take a page out of how Ready or Not is doing it. They are making very advanced moving AI. I'm not even sure if that's possible in the Unity engine, but I think it is. It should be possible. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Just take a lot of hard work. Like for example, in Ready or Not, it looks like if you shoot at an AI, it's gonna go into some crazy anime. Like I saw a guy get shot in one of the trailers, and he did a backflip or something. He flew back and ran behind cover. It's almost like they were using what would you call it? AI controlled by deep learn. It's hard to explain because I know that in the future they're gonna have AI that's super extreme that controls other AI, a group of AI, and makes it just extremely realistic. I can't wait for that to happen. But right now we can only use hard programmed AI, and it's never gonna be amazing. But this is just what we have now. You can see right here in the video that the AI are rushing this guy, and I don't know if they don't look brilliant in the trailer, but it almost seems like they work together better than the AI we have now do. I know that we have the scav bosses and some of them work together, but the AI in this game have just always been kind of a mess. I hope in the future they make it better and they make the third person animations better. First person though, it's all great. This game is at the tippity top of the top when it comes to first person realism. It's up there. Okay, now let's talk about the maps. What have they delivered on the maps? We saw gameplay of Streets of Tarkov, which is probably one of the most hyped maps there are. You can don't say that Labs was hyped because it wasn't. The only thing that was hyped in that update that I did Labs was the new scav boss. But then Labs blew us out of the water, which is great. We were hyped for Streets of Tarkov for months after the game came out. We expected it to come out the next year. Didn't happen, and that was 2016. We were hoping it would come out in 2017. That passed. 2018 passed. Now we're in 2019, and we've gotten additions and map additions that weren't even on like the list of maps that they were planning on added. Like we've got, I know that they did the expansion to Shoreline, which I don't even think that was kind of a planned thing. I think they were out of nowhere. Oh, we're expanding Shoreline. And the Labs it didn't come out of nowhere, but it wasn't ever on the map. I don't recall them ever talking about it until they just released screenshots of this new crazy cool map called Labs. and we've been waiting on Streets of Tarkov for the longest time. I really hope that they start punching out more content, more maps, because the maps that we have are cool. And I mean, I just want to see some of the maps that we've been waiting for a long time, and new ones if they can. But they've been very, very slow on adding maps. We've only gotten a couple new ones. I actually don't think Shoreline was a map when the game came out. When I got the game, actually, I don't think that was a map, but maybe it was a different one that I'm thinking of. And personally, my favorite map is Woods because of just it's got this gameplay to it. Customs used to be my favorite map. Shoreline was actually also a really good map, but when they did the additions to Shoreline, it just killed the flow, in my opinion. I don't like it anymore. Also, most of you probably don't remember the game working like this, but you only ever used to spawn on one side of the map and your goal was to get to the other side to escape. I loved it. It was so much more intense, but the problem is there's too many people spawning on one side, and it was also really cool to see both sides of the map clashing in the middle. That was really cool because they added spawns to the other side of the map, and that really changed the game. That really, really changed the game, and I think for the better. But I do miss those old days where you would just feel so claustrophobic. You would try and be the first one to cross the land bridge here on Customs, and that just created so many problems. You'd get snipers that would not be scared from one angle. They just hide in a bush, and when you're crossing the land bridge, they just snipe you. It was too much. So that was a good addition. I think many of the changes that they've made to this game have just made it way better, but also way more complicated, which has kept me from playing it more just because I feel like I have less time to play it, especially during school. I mean, you just don't have time to grind the game out like that, and only the people that have the time are going to be at the be at the top. But whatever, I still do really good when I play this game. I mean, I have pretty much all my traders maxed out right now, and this is the second patch that we've had since I've been in school. I don't know. I have enough time, just not enough time, if you know what I'm saying. Not enough time for it to be the best it can be. And I don't remember there being that many missions when the game first came out. Also, it didn't seem like that doing the missions were as important as they are now. I think it's because missions would more quickly, when you get to that second or third trading level, you would just automatically unlock the good stuff. It wasn't locked behind missions like it is now. And I think it's a good thing that it's locked behind missions, but at the same time, I don't, because it just really unbalances the game. Wow, they're throwing shots at that scav. I think that's a scav. Is it? I don't know. It's really cool watching this because I mean, in some ways the game looks the exact same. In other ways, it's just completely different. Like the running and obviously the graphics look a bit better for some. I think it could just be the lighting. They might have had to downgrade the lighting. About the graphics though, they've been teasing for a while now that they're doing a complete rework on all of it. I think they've mentioned a complete rework on the graphics. I hope that also means the third-person animations. That'd be a godsend if the third-person animations were more, I guess, better looking. They just kind of look like a stiff mess right now, but it's all right. The game works. The first person is amazing. Like I said earlier, over the top, amazing. So what else? I don't know if I mentioned the body armor earlier, but my biggest problem with this game has been the body armor. It's kind of a lot. I'm just going to try to get past it quickly because it's here now. We're going to have to live with it. When they were first advertising the game, they were talking about how everything's going to be realistic, bullet penetration, yada, yada, yada. The armor in this game is not realistic right now, and I was hoping for a more realistic-ish armor system. When they first added armor, the Ford armor and the what was the helmet? I don't remember what I think it was it always the fast? No, because I feel like the fast was an addition to the game. No, the Kiver. It was the Fort and the Kiver. Those were just the best of the best when I really started grinding this game, and I would always wear it, right? But they were just always bullet sponges, and when they started updating the like the face area, so if you got shot in the face, it wouldn't just completely block it because you're wearing a helmet. I thought they were going to start making the armor more realistic in the case that you can't shoot someone 150 times with 9mm, and just because it's a higher armor level, it's not going to go through, right? I mean, obviously in real life, if you get shot 150 times, you're going to die. And also the fact that the meshes, just like how on the face hitbox, they made it where if you get shot in the nose, you're going to die unless you're wearing a face shield or a face mask for the most cases. I thought they were going to do that to the meshes as well. If you don't know how body armor works, you open it's kind of like a package. You open it up and you slide a metal plate into it, right? Unless you're wearing soft armor, which I don't know much more about. The Ford armor completely covers your entire chest and some of your arms and legs. It used to do the legs anyways. I don't know if it still does. And no matter where you get shot at on the armor, as long as it's part of the mesh, it protects the bullets. And that's just not how it works. I hope that one day they make it where it's not like that, because it would be much easier to get kills, in my opinion, if they just had a plate system or a plate mesh, or not a plate mesh, but the hitbox outlined correctly where the plates would be. Because in real life, that GB or 6B, I don't know what it is, armor, the Ford armor, which is Russian 6A armor, I think that's equivalent to our American level 4 armor. The amount of protection it does to your body is a lot less than you would think. It covers your vital organs, which is great, but there's so many spots on the armor where if you get shot, you're going down. I mean, it's crazy how this game does it. And all this is just the armor. I'm just complaining about the armor. It's something to nitpick at, and to be honest, there's not a lot to nitpick at this game. Well, there is, but there's not at the same time. It's a great game. The entire focus of the game is just great, and they've done a relatively good job of implementing it, besides for some of the drama they've invoked. And the drama doesn't matter. We're talking about the game. The only issues that I've seen thus far is the armor, the lag, the desync, and that's really it. It seems like a lot of really good games out there suffer from the exact same things, and mainly, especially PUBG, when that really started getting popular, was the desync and lag. And in this game, it just released an update that addresses both. Well, really just the lag. I think it was the patch before that fixed the desync, or maybe the one before that one. And they did a good job on that. It seems like all these issues are back, actually, with this new patch. It seems like all the things that we've worked so hard for so many years, 2 years, to fix, just back again. I think it's just the symptoms of an early update, but we'll see. We'll see where that goes. I've been really starting to get back into the game. I've been playing with my friend Logan. It's really fun. When Apex Legends came out, I just started grinding that game because I thought it was something new and really, really fun. And that might sound cringy to some of you who are just hardcore FPS people, but I like casual games too. I still like some of the Call of Duty games, especially competitive games that are casual from the outside but hardcore on the inside. Siege, that's a good example. It's not hardcore, but it's competitive. I like it. I almost wish that Tarkov was more competitive, which, especially with how realistic it is, I think that's entirely possible, but not with how the armor works. I don't think that's possible. So that's pretty much it for the gripes. I mean, and they've just done an amazing job on adding new things to this game, even if it was slow. They seem to really do a good job on adding new exciting things, and it's kept the game alive for this long. Most games that have come out this year, even or late last year, didn't seem to last very long. I mean, we have Identity. Remember that game? That game didn't last a second. That game was dead on arrival. Actually, we have the Division 2. There's just a lot of games out there that are getting bad reception because of how unfinished they are when they come out. And I wish there were more games like this that were unfinished but good. I don't know if developers are like, let's release a bad game and an unfinished game because we see other people doing it, when in reality the only ones that are successful are the ones that are good but just not polished. This game was good, it just wasn't polished, and it didn't have... It had a lot of content, but it didn't have a ton of content compared to other games that had a ton of content, but not compared to what we have now. If we went back to this state, it'd be like living in the Stone Age, which shows that they've done an amazing job of updating it. I really like everything that they've done to it. Give or take a couple things, couple things. So yeah, they've done a and I remember one of the most hyped things about this game was that the gun customization, and that is this game it also tops that off. I know yesterday I said that the gunplay in Ready or Not is going to blow this game out of the water. That might have been an overstatement because they're not going deep in gun customization like Tarkov, right? Tarkov, you can completely degrade your gun to nothing, even if it doesn't work. You can't use it unless it doesn't work. Obviously, you can't. You can take it into the raid, you just can't have it in your hands. It's funny. I like it, but you can do anything to it. You can make it look like a crazy thing that no one in real life would spend thousands of dollars to do. And so we were definitely delivered. When you go back to the trailer, the original cinematic trailer, and you see all the hype comments on it, you realize that most of those people probably didn't actually play the game. They probably saw gameplay and then they just didn't buy it. And most of them are probably console gamers, is why. I know that's kind of a bold statement, but every hype gameplay trailer that you're going to see on sites like GameSpot or whatever are going to be just a lot of console gamers that want to see something new, and they see this game like, wow. And they don't ultimately ever buy it because they're on console and we're on PC. And even if they did come and play this game and they see that it's different from the trailer, I'm sure they would still like it because it's following the same idea that the trailer was kind of showing off. Even, I mean, I don't know, maybe it wasn't that obvious, especially if you're a console gamer and don't have games like this. I might make a whole video on why games like Tarkov, DayZ, most survival games out there, or kind of like games that are slower paced like Arma and realistic, just have this weird feeling to them. I remember I was on the stairs of Customs. Me and my friend, this was when we were kind of new to the game. We were hiding all the way in the back of end of the hallway, and we saw someone's suppressor sticking out of the other side of the hallway's end. And I don't remember if he had a laser or not, but we just saw it kind of wiggling around. We also saw that he was ready to come and try and push us to see if there's anyone up there, and we were scared shitless. Now imagine if you were playing Call of Duty and you see a suppressor stick out the other end of a hallway. How are you going to feel? I'm sure you're not going to feel the same feeling. The games like these are just different. They're different and they feel different. And it's not for everybody, but I can guarantee you, if you were in my shoes, me and my friend's shoes right there, it doesn't matter what type of game you're playing. As long as you know how the game works, you'll feel the same way we did it. It is just that unique feeling that gives this game that magic, and any other game like this. I think that's all I have to say. This game has done a pretty good job. It's aged decently with a few hiccups along the way. It's aged decently, and it's fun to go look back at this old gameplay. There's plenty more of old gameplay out there. This is just official gameplay. This is the gameplay that the developers wanted to show us. You can go out there and look at Big Fry's or really anyone else's older videos on what, when you got that, when they were able to start recording. I remember back when they couldn't record this game, and I actually didn't have it then. I didn't get it that much longer after they were able to, or when the game went to its beta access. I think it was early 2017. But yeah, that pretty much sums everything up. I really appreciate all you guys any of you, all you guys, any of you who came out here to watch this video. I would be doing gameplay right now, but unfortunately, I think I've said this before in one of my recent videos, my graphics card isn't good enough to have the quality I want it. I like having quality videos as long as quality audio, and my graphics card just can't push that. So here soon, I'm going to be ordering a RTX 2060. I would just buy the GTX 1660, but it doesn't have those tensor cores that allows you to record without having a deep impact on your CPU, and that's crucial. I want that RTX 2060 because of that. Once I get that, we're going to be doing tons of gameplay on especially Tarkov. I want to try and get back into DayZ every once in a while, try and make a stellar video. I like getting immersed into that game, meeting characters in that game, meeting real people, kind of acting it all out. Role play, I don't know what you want to call it. That's really fun. And just more first-person shooters, maybe even Insurgency Sandstorm, even though I think the hype around that game kind of died down a little bit for whatever reason. But yeah, that's it. I promise I'm leaving this time. But thank you for watching. This is Los Wifo, and we will see you hopefully within the next 2 days.